Good day, subscribers, and welcome everybody back to The Contrarian. I have a brief update to give with regards to China and the Evergrande situation that is continuing to unfold over there. Until now, I haven't really given my opinion as to whether or not I do think that this is kind of the catalyst to potentially send the markets into a correction worldwide, but I've just been kind of observing the potential effects that this could have as a potential contagion where it ends up spreading to further, having ripple effects essentially to other companies, whether they be in China or around the world, other companies who might have been holding a lot of the debt or stock in these different companies. And it does seem that there is another domino that is beginning to fall over in China that is also in the real estate market. And it isn't as large as Evergrande. It's actually about 5% of Evergrande's total market cap. So it definitely is not as large as Evergrande was, but it is still nevertheless another property developer that recently was unable to pay around $200 million in a US dollar bonds. And essentially this is the exact kind of same outcome that Evergrande was going through. They effectively have not been able to pay their bonds yet. They're within their 30-day grace period right now, so we're kind of waiting to see if they do end up making their payments there, but likely they don't. Likely Evergrande is kind of the Lehman Brothers kind of moment over there in China. And likely Beijing, the CCP, likely they are not going to bail out Evergrande entirely. They're likely going to let parts of Evergrande and parts of the investors who invested in Evergrande essentially end up holding the bag there. So that is likely what is going to happen with Evergrande. This other company, Fantasia Holdings, which has recently been unable to make their debt payment. This was much more recent than Evergrande. This is just the last couple of days that we've heard about Fantasia Holdings. Now, Fantasia Holdings could essentially be another domino that Evergrande started, that they knocked down now, and this could effectively be the first of many companies that end up going under as a result of Evergrande, and just the more so than Evergrande, the falling off a cliff of the real estate purchases in China. Real estate purchases have fallen dramatically in the last several months, and this is partly why Evergrande went bankrupt, and this essentially could have many more ripple effects in and of itself, simply because now that Evergrande is beginning to fail, potentially a lot more companies which were holders of Evergrande's debt or Evergrande stock could also begin to go under, just due to the massive leveraging of Evergrande and just how large of a company Evergrande was to begin with. So in a way, this could actually be kind of the beginning of the unwinding of this, everything bubble that we've seen around the world for a long time now, but I don't want to say that for sure. It could be the case of where we do see a few more months of continued speculation, continued, hype going around. In other markets, China might have peaked at this point, but I'm just saying that worldwide, for the United States markets, for all of the US indices, it could be a few more months of speculation, of hype still running rampant around here, potentially fears of inflation driving more investors into the markets until we begin to see effects of Evergrande over here in the United States, at which point it likely would mean that a top had been put in on this sort of everything bubble, as I like to call it. But all this being said, this is just another update in terms of Evergrande and what is going on over there in the Asian markets, and we just need to wait and see how this unfolds. If Evergrande can make their payments, if Fantasia Holdings can make their payments, then this would really change things. But the likely direction is that they don't end up making their payments and that they end up going under, but we just need to wait and see in the long term how this ends up unfolding. So all this being said, if you like this kind of content, just consider subscribing to this channel, where I like to talk about going against the crowd in order to outperform the markets. And I hope to see you again at some point.